Hi Virgo, I'm starting with you guys today for the first time. I don't think I've ever actually started with Virgo. And, I just feel like you, Sagittarius and Pisces, are really freaking tired right now. Just because you have all of this energy going on in this sixth house, which is your mental, physical, and emotional health. There's such a big party going on there, right? We have the sun, we have Jupiter, we have Pluto, we have Venus, we have Mercury retrograde. We have all of these energies hanging out in there. It is bananas. So I feel like, you know what? Poor Virgos are just so tired right now. So let's just start with them. I'm going to be pulling some cards. And let's just talk a little bit of astrology. Just a few things. This is going to be covering the time period of the 8th until the 21st. So those 2 weeks, because I'm going to be doing a couple of extra specialty reads this month. So I'm going to have this. I'm going to be doing for career, money situation, whatever the money dealio is going on in your life, as well as love. But next week for Valentine's Day, we're going to be doing a very deep dive love read, right? And so that's going to be for singles as well as for couples. So, I always go deep anyway, right? But I mean, like really deep, we'll go next week. So what do we have going on this week? From the 8th of February until the 2nd of March, we have Saturn, right? Which is all about structure and rules and karma that needs addressing, the past. It's the father figure, right? It's going to be in a very, very tense square with Uranus, which is like the rebellious adult child, I call Uranus, insisting on their own new path, while screaming how misunderstood they feel. So this is going to be in a very tight aspect. So, a lot of people are saying, as I mentioned in my general astrology video for the month of February, if you didn't check that out, please feel free to check that out if you want to just find out more specifically about the astrology. But a lot of people are calling this the most profound transit of the year. And this is going to be, in its high vibration, this can absolutely bring beautiful change. In its low vibration, it's going to be super challenging because there needs to be a release. Now guys, this has to do with your life in general. Now specifically for Virgo, this is going to be happening between your 6th house of your day-to-day experience, your day-to-day work environment, your mental, physical, and emotional health. Uranus is going to be hanging out in the 9th house, having to do with your belief system, having to do with higher education, lawsuits, anything like that. All those 9th house matters. So something has reached its expiration date. Maybe you're realizing you can't do that job anymore. You have to start taking care of your health differently. Or you're realizing that your belief system has absolutely changed in where you see your path going, right? I mean, this is what's going to be going on for a lot of Virgos. And this can be very exhausting because a lot of this is going to be happening kind of internally and externally. So there's going to need to be this release of something that was, because something new is banging on the door to get in. But there needs to be this sort of blending of the energies here. There have to be concessions made, right? That like nothing is going to be 100% perfect, no matter how much you wish it to be. But this could end up being even better than you thought, right? It really does depend. But this can be a situation where you might feel pushed into making certain path changes, maybe because of your economic situation or some sort of situation having to do with your health, anything like that. But it's an older way versus a newer way. It's sort of like one side versus the other and who's going to win kind of thing. So that's going to be the energy that's going on until the beginning of March. Then on February 10th, we have the sun, the moon, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Minerva. Everyone is all in Aquarius, right? So for you guys, it's in the 6th house. This has not happened in over 4,000 years, where Minerva was in there with them. Very profound energy. And it probably won't happen for another 500. So very, very heavy energy. And what does this mean? I mean, just to think about, there's going to be a lot of focus on emotions, on where it is that we want to go, on the work that we have to do. Lots of focus on homework. Saturn's all about homework. Communication, even though Mercury's retrograde, will be going direct at the end of this time period that I'm discussing, but he won't be out of the post shadow. Just understand. But Mercury retrograde with this energy, I think, is going to be very, very good for us too, especially because Venus is hanging out in there with him. excellent time to revisit, renew, have those important conversations that have to go on. I mean, really good about having to do with the future. February 11th, we have the new moon in Aquarius. This is really good for making friends, new goals. Definitely marks the beginning of a new cycle. The Capricorn new moon cycle ends and the Aquarius new moon cycle begins. And in this energy, it's about groups, it's about gains, and it's about goals. And where do you see yourself going, right? So lots of problem solving should be going on here. A lot of out of the box thinking, which is going to be really, really good. So just something for you to keep in mind with that. And just so much energy going on there though, right? I mean, a lot, so I feel like too, and I did mention this in the astrology video, this is going to be mostly affecting people born with personal planets and points at approximately like 19 to 27 degrees of the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Most significantly, we're all going to be feeling it, but I feel like they're going to be feeling it the most. And then on the 11th to the 14th, we have Jupiter conjunct Venus, Mercury, the Sun, and the Moon. So beautiful, rays of love, going to be felt through what might feel like an otherwise challenging time period. So this brings healing in relationships. This can bring in new partnerships, lots of wisdom gained in this energy. So I really do like that. Now we do have though on the 18th to the 20th, Venus and Mars are going to be squaring off. Now, I know a lot of people have a lot of stuff to say about this energy right now. Maybe not so positive, but I want you guys to remember something. Mars is the tower, right, in tarot. And the tower is all about pushing us to see that something has reached its expiration date because it's not ultimately meant for us, or we need to stop thinking a certain way because it's not serving us anymore in a particular area of our life. And that's what Mars is about. So Venus squaring off with Mars, I want you to picture Venus coming in and saying, where are we supposed to be, Mars? And Mars saying, we have to figure this out. And that's where the square off is. And never be afraid of squares. Those are really positive, I think, because tension is necessary for growth. But it can definitely create some snafus in relationships, even finance, just a couple of days after having that beautiful conjunction between Venus and Mercury. So what you feel like you're going to be figuring out, I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be revisiting things in that 11th to 14th range, but then the 18th to the 20th, some doses of reality might pop in. It's like, all right, how are we going to fix this? What are we going to do? How's this going to end up working out? Right? And then we have that working with the Chinese New Year, by the way, which is the year of the ox. Okay, so lots of hard work for us this year. So those are the main things I wanted to mention with the astrology. So let's get into talking about what we have going on as far as your career goes. So we have something cut out. We have the skate, the mice, the house, time, and the stalk. So Virgo, definitely entering a new cycle. There's something that you're looking to cut out so that you can have a firmer foundation. You're very aware of the clock right now, though the time, like the passing of time, is very troubling to you. You're working really hard. This is going to be all about work for you. We've been discussing this because of all of these heavy hitters in your 6th house of day-to-day work environment. Definitely going to be happening for you, right? It's also going to be trining your 10th house of career. So we have to keep in mind there's definitely a new cycle that wants to happen. But this is, to me, my eyes are most drawn to these two. The skate means something needs to be cut out. And the mice is either somebody stealing money from you, siphoning money away, or something that's deeply troubling you about your career. And the house has to do with your home, your fundamental foundation, and you being able to feel grounded, rooted, safe, and secure. And if you don't feel really grounded in something and really like you're in the right place doing the right thing, you must cut it out or life is going to come in and do its thing. We have the stalk, which indicates new life. Okay, so I love this as far as crowning energies, but let's get into this. We have the situation right now, the Judgment and the Sun. Oh, two beautiful major arcanas. Virgo, you are forgiving yourself for anything that has happened having to do with whatever it is that you're dealing with regarding this financial situation. So guys, again, this could have to do with a career, a lawsuit, a settlement, a divorce settlement. alimony, child support, inheritance, anything that has to do with money coming to you from something that you've done, or maybe maybe your partner's money as well. But this is about acknowledgement for your success is coming in. Finances do improve for you. And this is working with the sun is complementing it. So, I mean, come on, this is fabulous. Success and a position through which you can make more money is going to be presented. Now, what I want to point out with the sun, when we're talking about money or career, it doesn't mean that you wake up and step into a bag of gold, right? You would think that because of the sun, but it's not that actually. It's about you getting this position or positioning yourself within a situation. Maybe it's a lawsuit where you're going to be able to end up achieving and gaining more money than you have right now. This is about you getting very deserved acknowledgement, enjoying success. So I can't tell you how beautiful that is, but check it out. What's got to lead up to it? Wow. Death. Yep, that's it. So a possible ending of a business connection or an avenue of money. Things may be tough initially, like right now, but this energy indicates that there's something new on the horizon for you. So you really just need to be patient, because this is all about transformation, right? I mean, the death energy is a Scorpio energy, which is ruled by Pluto, the modern ruler. It's all about transformation. So very nice. Now, the crowning energy here we have is the Five of Coins. So you might be really troubled about something to do with money. You might just be flat out worried in your I'm saying in your mind, meaning that your finances might be okay, but you might just be in this space where a big part of the motivation is the fact that you don't feel like you're in something that's going to be able to bring you what it is that you're looking for over the long term for you financially. For some of you, maybe you experienced a financial loss and you're going through some sort of, if not like some shade of poverty, a poverty mindset, right? Having to do with the situation. But for many of you, it could just absolutely manifest as you being like, all right, I'm doing this now, but how long am I going to really be able to do this for? And is it realistic for me in the long term? And maybe it is realistic, having to do with finances, but is it what I really want to do, right? Because you really need to love what you're doing here as the foundation. The Justice energy is really, you want to love what you're doing. Remember, this is ruled by Venus. Venus is one of the money planets, but what is the glyph for the Justice energy? It's the scales, right? And it's about fairness and about feeling really good in something. So right now you may experience a challenging situation that feels like almost like a test, like almost like how much could you put up with for some of you. Others of you might be presented with a situation where you quite literally feel like it's testing your ability to stay in something. And this energy means that the Justice energy means that things will go well and in your favor. And any kind of negotiation, interview, or like a situation where a meeting of the minds is needed, it's going to go in your favor. If money's been an issue, things are set to definitely improve for you. So I really like having that working with the Five of Coins energy. Then we have the Ace of Swords. Very nice. As far as you go right now, this is about mental clarity. This is about you having a lot of realizations, new ideas. But with the new idea comes sort of new issue, new conflict. It's like you're in this problem solving, because Virgo, you guys are all about problem solving anyway, right? Because the sixth house, which is your home, which happens to be where everyone is living right now in your world, right? Saturn and the like. It's all about problem solving. The sixth house is a house of problems. So you have to really put your thinking cap on. So you're solving problems because you're seeing, you're having mental clarity that you have not been able to have really up to this point. But with that's going to mean some sort of trade-off, like maybe you get a new job and you've gotten used to working at home and you have to go into an office now, or maybe vice versa, something like that. And I'm just using that as an example. This could also be mental clarity and some sort of lawsuit or some sort of negotiation, which ends up you have this realization and you go back to the drawing board and you're negotiating under sort of like a different lens. Now we have the energy that's external to you that's impacting your situation. So we have the Seven of Coins energy here, which is about patience. definitely working really, really hard, or the need to work hard. This is about delayed success, the need to wait. So you may be in the situation, maybe you're waiting to hear back from a situation, or you're going through the motions, you're going through the process of something. One thing that I wanted to mention too in the astrology part that I feel like is very much worth noting is don't be frustrated if not a lot gets moved forward, during this little time period, especially the week of the 8th. Because I don't know, like the moon void, of course, we have moon void, of course, every week, but I just feel like the moon voids this week are just, along with Mercury retrograde, still not out, still not direct. And I just feel like this is such a good time to set your ducks in a row, do a lot of processing, do a lot of negotiating. So good for negotiating things. So it's this idea of, okay, you know what? Let me be patient. We're still talking. Plus, anyway, you don't really want to sign on the bottom line until the end of the month anyway, right? Right. So it's okay if you're waiting to hear back. Just be patient, right? Be patient. It's always best to wait till Mercury. Mercury comes out. At least comes out. Well, towards the end of the month. Okay. I don't want to get confusing here. So we have the Knights of Wands as your hope and fear. So the Knight of Wands, you want to make sure that you're doing something that's really creative. This is feeling really optimistic, really positive, really creative, really free-spirited. This is very much what you want to feel in this, having to do with this situation. You want to be free of something. You want to be able to have a creative approach to something, but you're also afraid that that's not going to happen. And this could have to do even with some sort of negotiation. Like maybe you have to get a little creative with how something's going to ultimately end up working out. You'd like that, but you're afraid. This is a very psychological card. It doesn't mean that it's happening in the 3D. But look at this. We have the Page of Cups in the near future. Love it. So the Page of Cups is coming in and offering something that's new, that's different. But there's a certain type of proposal that's really going to speak to you in a way that's going to make you very happy. But it's some sort of new cycle that's opening up. So some sort of new offering, because Page does indicate this element of newness. Now we do have, check it out, as the final outcome energy here, we have the Devil. So the Devil, when it comes to anything having to do with finances, it's just indicating to me that you are experiencing some sort of maybe issues with a contract, or you might be really in the space of questioning whether you're going to really be satisfied in something. You might be concerned that you might end up with a domineering boss, or some sort of toxic work environment, but where you're afraid that you end up staying because then you end up feeling financially trapped. So a lot of you could kind of be going, because that's the final outcome energy, so a lot of you could be going into it with that energy. We have the Knight of Cups here, which is about a really positive proposal coming in. And then we have the Moon energy. So Moon energy is always about, like what's sort of like lingering underneath the surface is the Moon, right? The Moon is also about our ability to feel very grounded, rooted, safe, and secure, right? Because the Moon rules Cancer, which is that 4th house. So this tells me that you might achieve a goal, but ultimately feel it wasn't worth the effort. And emotions run high with colleagues, and you may need to protect yourself from others' negativity right now, having to do with a lawsuit, anything in work, anything like that. Well, money matters is stable, but you want more satisfaction from your work than just your paycheck. So because I feel like a lot of you may be in the space of feeling like, okay, because the Devil is the final outcome, we're only dealing with a couple of weeks in February. I feel like this level of imbalance that you're feeling in your current situation is going to become very overwhelming. And you're realizing that you're just doing it for the money, and you're not doing it because you really, really love to do it. But I love that the Page of Cups is coming in before that, because it's like something new is being offered. And whatever new is coming in, whether it's an idea, an actual presentation of some sort of proposal of something, is going to highlight the imbalance that you've been feeling, that you've really been experiencing, and the lack of contentment in what it is that you're doing. So let's check out the wisdom of the oracle that we got for you. Serendipity. Nothing is happening by accident. Well, you know I don't believe in that anyway, but right, according to Jung, what do I always say, right? Jung really believes best serendipitous energy is Mercury retrograde. This is when some really beautiful things happen. We have message in the bottle. It's time to pull the emotions out that you're really feeling about this particular money situation and bring it out into the 3D and communicate it. Some sort of messages coming in, and it's going to allow these emotions that you've been feeling, because I feel like a lot of you have been feeling very emotional about your work, very confused, or frustrated. There could be a number of things going on here, depending on your situation. This is a general reading, but I feel like there's a message that's going to come in that's going to really highlight for you how appreciative you are of this change in your path, and just something coming to fruition, right? It's coming out from under, and it's coming out into the 3D, and it's manifesting. And then we have chaos and conflict. To be honest, I'm really not mad at this, because there needs to be a little storm before there's a calm. So there's going to need to be, I feel like, some shuffling of energy, shuffling of things around in order for you to make the changes that you know you need to make. And change is never easy. If it's easy, be very suspicious of that, right? There's definitely change being had here, having to do with something regarding the finances, regarding your career, something of that nature that has to do with money. But big, there's definitely the start of a new cycle, and you're going to feel it very, very strongly. You're absolutely going to feel it. So that's what we have for you with that portion. Now let's go to the relationship part of the reading. So let's see what we get coming up for our Virgo friends. Okay, let's just pull a bunch of stuff. I actually wanted to pull some love oracles. Okay. All right, so let's see what we get. Quick little Norman read. Oh, so you know what? We get the stalks too. Different deck, different spread. This is for love. But we have the stalks as well, and we got the mice again too. So something's deeply troubling you, Virgo, having to do with relationships. We got the fox right in the center. You just don't know if you can trust this energy. You just don't know. And you can't stop looking at the past, even though you're moving forward. All these energies looking at the past. Okay. I'm going to show them to you in a second. So with the Lenormand, so we see the stalk is looking forward, right? And we always want to pay attention to where everybody is looking. Where's everybody looking? Right? She's looking at the past. She's looking at the past. Past, right? Meanwhile, the stalk indicates something ending and going into a new phase. So listen, if you're in the space in a relationship where you're kind of trying to be very patient, you're realizing that somebody was maybe not 100% honest with you, at least in the way that you consider honesty to be in a relationship, because the fox energy is like that. It's purposely saying something that is either not the truth or not possible, like some lip service. Doesn't mean they're a bad person in that case. It just means maybe they're giving you lip service because they didn't want to upset you, or they didn't want to argue about something. But there's no question that whatever was going on here was bothering you a lot, right? It was just like eating away at you, eating away at you, eating away at you. And I feel like a lot of you guys cannot help but to sort of look at the past, even though you are by all rights moving forward. You absolutely are. And I think the rider is hilarious in this deck, because the horse is going forward, but she's looking behind her. She's like, all right, I'm not even looking at the future. I have my back there. But yet you're moving forward, right? So you're moving forward, but with some, I suppose some hesitation, we could say. Okay, so then we have the dragon, palm tree, and seduction. So let's see what we have going on here for our Virgo friends. We have the Ace of Wands in the reverse to start. So this is about like a rejection, a false start, delay, This could even be an energy that's kind of like brutal. This has to do with the situation that's going on right now. So some of you may be in separation right now. Could be as simple as that. Or you're feeling a lot of delays in your ability to move forward in something with something having to do with the relationship. So in the recent past, we have the Fool energy, which was definitely trying something different, talking about the future, lots of conversation about how things are going to end up playing out, right? In a space of saying, you know, come on, let's go. Let's try something new. Let's try something different. So this could also be indicative of maybe some of you met in the recent past, you know, because this does indicate a new relationship or a new start, a new approach to doing things differently than before, right? It's like going with the flow and trying not to repeat the same mistakes that maybe you guys made before if you were in some sort of situation where it was like on again, off again, or you guys had just met. So the Ace of Wands, again, we have this delay. Could be because of COVID even, you know, could be that. But it could also just be this sort of false start, right? This false start and sense of rejection almost. And we have this working with the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords is about this betrayal, dishonesty, running away from something. So I feel like maybe you experience somebody who is just not showing up, Virgo. You know what I mean? Like, if it had to do with lip service, like I was mentioning with the fox, that when it came down to it, they just couldn't show up. They just couldn't pull the trigger on deepening it into that next level for whatever reason. Now we have the Five of Pentacles as the crowning, and this is a tough energy and, you know, relationship read because Pentacle is mental, physical, emotional connection as well. So it's this sort of like feeling of lack, feeling isolated, feeling really worried, not feeling comfortable. There could be this there could quite literally have been some sort of financial loss or some financial concern in this particular relationship where money was an issue here. But we have in the foundation, we have the Three of Swords. Now, this could certainly be a cheating situation. Now, those of you guys who are watching me now, because I know a lot of people run to that right away, it does not only mean that. There are many, many ways that we could break each other's hearts, right? This could just be good old heartbreak where you're hurting over a situation that's gone on here. It could mean divorce. It could mean just basic loss. It could be depression. You might just be really depressed about something. Nobody cheated on anybody, but you might be struggling through a bit of depression right now. And just because with all of this energy in your sixth house and because you may be feeling really, really tired, definitely give yourself some rest, Virgo, if you do, so you don't sink in to that possible depression just from exhaustion and mental overload, right? Because there's going to be a lot of mental overload for you guys. Ultimately, it's going to end up faring really well for you. But right now, as your energy and your constitution acclimates to all these energies being in one house, you know, and it happens to be your house of health, just cut yourself a break if you're feeling that way, right? But this is the card of pain. Right? I mean, that's what this is. You know, I mean, the Three of Swords in astrology is Saturn in Libra. So Saturn, again, is about restriction, delay, karma, something dragging out, sort of. And Libra is about that seventh house relationship, that deep commitment. But it's pain and it's betrayal, but something's realized. And it could be something as simple as you realizing that what this person promised you and where you thought the relationship was going and what you thought was going to be playing out is in fact not going to be playing out the way you saw it in your mind's eye. And you're feeling really, really disappointed. But you are being very clear. Your eyes are wide, flipping open. There's no question. You got mental clarity. This is you. And you have new ideas right now. So a lot of you might be like, you know what? I have to pivot my energies. And that, if you're in that headspace and you're able to do that, excellent. If you're going through a lot in your relationship right now, pivot your energy. Focus on whatever is good in your life, whatever is positive in your life. Focus on your work. Focus on setting your ducks up in a row to get into something new. Call your friends. Do you know, give yourself little gifts each day. And I know that sounds so cheesy and that is so unlike me to say, but I think it's going to go a long way for you in this energy, to be honest with you. And again, like with anything else, whenever we have an Eight of Swords energy, this mental clarity hits, we see these things, but then we realize that in order to transition something, not to say that you guys are all getting divorced or all breaking up or anybody is at all, I'm not saying that at all, but in order for this situation to be addressed, there's got to be, it creates another issue. The clarity that you have creates another issue for you. Now, we have the moon energy. Now, this is an energy that's external to you, that's impacting you, okay? And this is a very confusing energy, right, when it comes to relationships. It's confusion and disappointment, right? Because you feel like somebody let you down, right? There's this lack of trust that the relationship's going to work, and it leads you to end up making ultimately a decision about the relationship. But it's like the confusion comes from someone else, where it's like the moon energy. Well, what does the moon mean? It's like secret. Somebody's not being really open. They're thinking a lot of things between their ears, behind their eyes. They're not sharing it, right? This could be an individual who's also, telling themselves a particular narrative about the situation that you guys are in, and they're not discussing it with you. Chances are you wouldn't really agree with their perspective anyway, right? But so it ends up inciting this level of confusion. Now we have in the fear position, we have the Five of Cups, which is, this is a hard energy. This is mental, first of all, and it's feeling abandoned, feeling unloved, feeling a sense of loss, feeling regret. You're hoping like hell you don't feel like this, because I do see some of you making a decision here, and you don't want to end up regretting what you end up doing, if you're thinking something in your mind. Because it's certainly not that you don't have feelings for this person, because you certainly do, because if you didn't, then you wouldn't be in this state of confliction with the Five of Pentacles. You wouldn't have the Five of Cups. You wouldn't have two fives, which are all about, feeling conflicted. You wouldn't be conflicted if you didn't care. So obviously there's a lot of emotion here. Now we have the Lover's energy. So might be dealing with the Gemini, but the Lover's energy for relationships is really about, well, first of all, for those of you who are single, I'm sorry I'm not speaking more directly to you, but, if you find yourself in this in-between space, love yourself first to release any blocks so that you can manifest the right relationship when the time comes along, right? So that's for any of you who happen to be in a single space right at the moment. But if you partnered, a love decision is needed. Are you both equally willing to work on the foundation of this connection? Everybody has to be on the same page in order to get the blessing of Archangel Raphael here. That's the thing. Archangel Raphael is connected with this energy. But everybody's got to show up the same. It can't be like no one-way streets, It can't be mostly falling on one person. It has to be something that is mutually negotiated. And I do like this working with the Magician energy, I do have to tell you, because the Lovers, first of all, is Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and the Magician is a Mercury energy. And Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo in astrology, and Gemini is all about communication, excellent. Virgo, you guys are all about solving the problems. So it's having the communication to solve the problems so that you guys could figure out how you could turn the vision that you guys each see, both independently and interdependently, for your relationship into reality. And it's got to be a lot of communication, right? So I do see the communication definitely picking up. And if I had to guess, I'm like feeling like anywhere between the 11th and the 14th of the month. But just understand that things are going to be coming into light, right? We have the Dragonfly, which is about be lighthearted, finding out, things coming to light, adapt, change, heal. So I feel like some honesty is going to be spoken, right? And then we get the Palm Tree for you guys, which is actually quite nice. It's about stability and security, endurance. Why is a palm tree? Palm trees are the trees that are still left standing, even in like a tropical storm, right? They're very strong. And then we have this energy of seduction, attraction, flirting, dating, hooking up, temptation, third-party interference. So I feel like this is going to resonate for some of you. If while unhappy, you were actually entertaining an outside energy, or they were, that's going to be for some of you. And that's going to need to be navigated. that could be the issue that's going on here in the first place, or at least suspicion of it. That doesn't have to be a full acting on it kind of thing. This could just be something that comes to light, or at least a realization that you or your partner are realizing has been troubling you, even if it never manifested into anything. Or you just might be really bothered by the fact that there's this lingering energy of, one of your partner's exes, or they might be having trouble dealing with one of your exes. It could be anything like that. But it could also be this idea, the seduction energy could also be, you really wanting the relationship to work, and them really wanting the relationship to work. So you get together and you promise each other the world, right? And we're going to fix this, and we're going to do this, and yeah. And then, you end up in bed, right? And maybe, I'm not going to say a little too soon to do that, but I'm going to say that it's very easy when we allow our emotions to overrun our air energy, our swords, right? Our mind, to actually, at least in the short term, forget about what was discussed and promised. And this is where I say a couple of days later, maybe on like the 18th to the 20th, where Venus squares off with Mars, it's like, hey, remember what you said was going to be da 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 da? So it could be that kind of energy. So just be careful of getting seduced in by either your attraction for your partner or the seduction of their words, right? Because this doesn't only have to be physical. This could be, and especially when we have the fox going on here, we have the fox on the table. The fox is very, no, I swear, it's going to be this way. And this is what we're going to do, knowing full well that that's really not going to be the case. So be very careful, be a little trepidatious. I just do want to say that. You want to make sure also that you're not misconstruing anything that your partner says. I always say, especially you guys are ruled by Mercury, right? Make sure you are really, really checking yourself before having any sort of like foot and mouth syndrome, or saying something that you can't take back, or anything like that. Thinking things through before you actually execute anything verbal, just in general, but especially to your partner right now. So that's what I have for you guys right now. But I'll see you guys next time when we do the deep love read. Okay, so we're going to go a little deeper, and we're going to be addressing singles as well. So I hope this was helpful. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.